You know, his son is fantastic. I mean, he's fantastic. Wahoo Jr. is a great human being. I really stepped in shit. That's a New York saying for wow. Is this really going on? But yeah, I'm very happy, man. You know, but I
That's
miss
that's awesome though. Congrats.
I thank you. But it snowed. And it hasn't snowed in 36 years. And of course, Mike, I didn't just bring, my usual New York jet luck that we suffer through. I brought snow. And I could smell it. I try to tell everybody it's coming. There's no snow shovel plows. There's no salt out here. There's no nothing. I did bring my ice scraper from New York. That saved my ass getting off my shift.
Uh,
You know?
Last week it snowed here, and I moved to Nashville 5 years ago. It
Right.
snowed here, and my stepdaughter, she just started driving like a couple months ago, and we were like, oh fuck, we don't have a snow scraper. So my fiance was out there with a spatula, a rubber spatula, scraping the
nice,
Yeah.
windshield.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Run the DeForce.
By the way, guys, when
Yeah.
you're shoveling, do you end up getting bat wings from the
What the, are,
sweat
you- are you back
from
to the bat?
shoveling?
You're back to the bat wings again?
I'm back to the bat wings.
Oh,
Chubby,
what?
do you do a lot of sweating when you're shoveling?
I do. I'm sweating right now. I'm sitting here.
Well, let me help you
He's
with
got
that.
bat wings. He's
Our
got
new
bat
sp-
wings right now.
our new sponsor, Mando.
There you go.
They'll get rid of those bat wings for you, Chubby. All right. You just spray it in between your sack, get it off your legs, right?
You're
It
sack.
comes right off.
Sack release spray.
Sack release spray. And the scent is wonderful.
Oh my
And if
god.
you use the code MATP, you'll get 5% off.
Nice. This
See,
is real too.
this is
Very
real. A
real.
lot of things that
Very
go on
real.
here.
Very
And guess
real.
what? If you're hanging out with the old lady, whoops,
Here we
and of course, in typical Monty form,
Did you-
yet again,
just
I
like the
dropped it.
just like the
like Billy.
commercial.
You use this and you smell really good, man. You put it all over yourself. Possibly,
Yeah.
maybe get it licked off. Who knows? But you know what?
Hey,
Mando, MATP.
Mando.
There you go, buddy.
Wow.
Anyway,
Absolute horror when Jimmy turned on Jay. And 50 years later, I meet Jimmy at his wrestling camp. The very first thing I said to him was that, I really hated you because you turned on Strongbow. And he laughed. But then you got Arion, and then you had Maivia, like you said. I probably can answer my own question, but why was it always Strongbow that they turned on?
Because he was so popular. You turn on the Chief, you got instant heat, and you'll sell out buildings. Now, Jimmy Valiant was wrestling, he and Chief were wrestling against Beautiful Bobby and the Black Demon, who was Tony Nero at the time. Because when Jimmy refused the tag, he went over to Beautiful Bobby's corner, who the Wizard was managing at the time. And then it was like he took over with them. And then, because the thing was, they said, well, the Chief was teaching him the sleeper, Jimmy Valiant. And then once Jimmy learned the secrets of the sleeper, then he just decided he was a monster all along. He was just using Strongbow. So it was like, that's cool. We ate it up. We believed it.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't like a lot of wars. It wasn't like a Batera or Valentine or Eric. It kind of fizzled out quick because I don't think Jimmy was long for the company. He was moving along.
Right.
Now, a long story with the Valiant brothers. He would come back later with Johnny. And I know all the stories about that. We'll get into it another time. But then it was like, that was gold. But even Jimmy got a belly full of that, not in any kind of heat or bad situation, but he wanted to do his own thing, and he did it.
Okay. So we finally come to the 1979 feud with Valentine. Chief's gone for about 4 months maybe, and only to come back. And I mean, he really feuded with Greg. It seemed like the rest of 79. What the broken leg was just a way to write him off TV, or was it legit?
No, but that's why I said he should have got the Academy Award. Here's the setup for it. It was Hamburg Fieldhouse. And the reason they didn't do it the night before in Allentown, because the Chief was there, they wrestled in the 6-man, because the Hamburg Fieldhouse was owned by a volunteer fire department that operated out of there as well. So it's like, that's perfect. have him break my leg, put me out on the side of the ring, have the ambo come in, and then I'll go off in the ambo to the hospital and drop me off around the corner and we'll take care of it. Well, Phil Zacco, this was the year of the snowstorm. This was 14th because it was Valentine's Day. It wasn't snowing yet, but it was like 20 degrees outside. And Phil Zacco said, I'm not opening that friggin' door, the big overhang door that they had where the ambo would come in and out. So Chief said, if you don't do it, you're going to do it right. I'm not doing the angle. So they get to the old man. Of course, the old man says, you do what he says. Just follow him. Let him do it how he tells you. So they did. The problem was the ambo was out on a run. It was like, where the hell are they? Son of a bitch. They brought up the great Hussein at the time, Sheik against Tony Russo, that match. Then the 6-man, and it's like it's going on. And it's like, holy shit, we might go off the air before the ambo gets here. But then they showed up, and man, they played it perfectly. Well, there was the ringside doctor, Dr. Wood. I don't think he was smart. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Because if you look at somebody's face, I'm retired detective sergeant, I can usually see things pretty good. That guy was believing it. Because Chief said, I told Monsoon, go break up the steps and make a splint. Well, he didn't break up the steps, but he did get some wood. And this Dr. Wood, he was just really, intent looking at it. Because when the ambo crew showed up and he showed, do this, do that, I want you to do that. So they take him off in an ambo. Then it gets worse. Now, all of a sudden, people are leaving the arena. They're going to follow the ambo.
Oh, geez.
Like, son of a bitch. Now what? It's like, go to Reading Hospital. Let's go. And somebody else said that it was planned that way to take photos, but it's like, that's not what Chief told me. It's like, no. Why the hell would they go to the hospital? They probably had to fake that one because they probably said, get the hell out of here. You ain't bringing that guy in here and do that shit. This ain't Hollywood.
So then, like, in his personal life, does he have to kayfabe it and walk around with crutches? And
not in Georgia, because not in 1979.
Right,
Nobody
okay.
knew. And that's why I say he was at a couple of arenas for another week before, because our TV, that was the 3rd hour that was taped. And then it didn't really hit the television markets till like around March 4th. So it's like, okay, you got a couple of weeks, just stay out of Pennsylvania. You can't go to the Garden, things like that. And then, okay, that was it. Because it was in its infancy. The internet wasn't there yet. And wrestling was definitely protected. And you could keep things quiet. You didn't even know what the hell, like I've said before, if you had a friend that was, let's say, in Boston, and you wanted to know what happened the night before, long distance call was expensive. Your parents are going to beat the shit out of you over something like that.
Yeah.
Or like the Garden, so the sheets weren't even around yet. The sheets wouldn't come around till like around late 1981, mid to late
early 80s. Yeah.
You didn't know what the hell was going on. And by the time you found out, it was too late. The only thing we had were the magazines. And thank God for the photos. My favorite was George Napolitano. I'm not a big Bill Apter fan. I'm more with George Napolitano because George was everywhere. George would go to TV. He would go to Baltimore. He's the one that got the shots of Superstar's victory over Bruno. And Superstar liked George too. And he told him, of course he traveled. And I used to see George a couple of times when I was doing security with the police department. And he was with WCW. I said, hey, George. He's like, what the hell are you doing dressed up like that? I said, this is my job, man. That's it. My other job. So
right.
It was cool.
What happened to Jay in 80 and 81? It seems like he took off most of the second half of 80 and the first half of 81. And then I saw that he wrestled for Georgia and even did some time in Mid-Atlantic. Did he just take some time off?
No.